Picture this. Friday night, suburban Ohio. Flo King, 35 years old, software developer, 237 pounds of Mountain Dew, and unfulfilled potential, is dissolving into a gaming chair that costs more than his savings account. The monitor throws blue light across empty cans, a 2-day-old pizza box, and a phone that just buzzed with the only good news he'll get this week. Payday. He opens the banking app. Direct deposit lands. $55,000 a year. That's a man who writes code that makes other people rich. He cracks a beer, leans back, and whispers, "Valhalla awaits," to a room that doesn't answer. Then his thumb scrolls down, past the deposit, past autopay charges lined up like tiny headstones, down to the balance, $1,103 for the whole month. The beer turns sour on his tongue, the chair sags beneath him, and the blue light stops feeling like home and starts feeling like an interrogation room where nobody's asking questions because the answers are already on the screen. You earn $50, $60, maybe $70,000 a year. You call yourself middle class. But your bank balance at the end of every month tells a very different story. Your salary is a mathematical illusion, a number designed to make you feel safe while the machine beneath your feet converts your hours into someone else's wealth. Somewhere across town, El Pepperoni sits in a dark kitchen, espresso in hand. Pepperoni sombrero on the wall behind him like a coat of arms. Same city, same 55,000. But his month-end number looks nothing like Flo King's. He watches guys like Flo King crater every payday, the way a documentary narrator watches a wildebeest wade into a crocodile river. The crocodiles aren't evil, they're just built to eat, and the wildebeest never learned to read the current. El Pepperoni winces at the word Valhalla. He used to whisper it too. 3 years ago. Different chair. Same hollow glow on the screen. If you want to see how El Pepperoni survives on the exact same salary, and trust me, the gap will make you sick, hit subscribe. This math is about to get very personal. "Let me show you what actually happens to that paycheck," he murmurs, tilting his cup toward the light, because the math is where the lie lives. $55,000, the gross number, the fantasy, the number Flo King puts on dating apps and whispers to himself at 3 a.m. Now watch it vanish. Federal income tax bites first, $5,200 for a single filer, standard deduction. Flo King never felt it. It happened in a payroll server he'll never see before the money existed in his universe for even a heartbeat. Then, FICA, Social Security and Medicare, removes $4,207. No receipt, no ping. It disappears like a subscription you never ordered and can never cancel. Ohio state tax shaves another $2,000. Total, $11,400. Gone before his app even flickered green. What's left? $43,593. $3,633 a month. El Pepperoni taps his cup. Still survivable. If he stops here, he's fine. A pause. He never stops here. 2 miles south, Doge Papa pours green tea into a mug that reads, "Much calm. No sugar. No hurry." He's watched this movie 100 times across 30 years. Different actors, same ending. The tea is warm. The ending never is. If this is clicking, if you just saw a number you've never examined before, smash that like button. It takes half a second and it helps more people see the math their employer prays they never run. But taxes are the warm-up. What Flo King does with the remaining 43,000 is where this becomes a horror film. And it starts with an engine that roars louder than his bank account. Flo King drives a 2023 Chevy Silverado. He's a software developer. The heaviest thing he's carried this year is a monitor box from Amazon. But behind that wheel, engine growling through the floorboard, 8 cylinders vibrating up through his wrists. He transforms. He's not a lonely coder above a laundromat anymore. He's a conqueror, a Viking riding chrome into battle. 37 minutes of daily commute where Flo King becomes the man he wishes he was. That identity costs $587 a month in payments. Insurance and gas together run another $472, because insuring a full-size truck for a single male under 40 and feeding it at $4.70 a gallon is exactly as brutal as it sounds. Total, $1,059 a month, $12,708 a year. Over a quarter of his after-tax income pours into a machine that bleeds value every time he turns the key. Now look at Doge Papa's driveway. A 2014 Toyota Camry, 217,000 miles, fading paint, a coffee stain on the passenger seat from 2014 that will outlive them both. Monthly cost, everything included, $189. The gap between ego and patience, $870 a month, $10,440 a year. Invested at 8% for a decade, that becomes roughly $170,000. Flo King's Viking costume costs a house down payment. He can't see it because the windshield sits too high, and the exhaust note drowns out the math. You're probably thinking, I need a car. You can't bike through Ohio in January. Absolutely right. The question isn't car or no car. The question is, did you buy transportation or a costume? There's a canyon between those two words. Your retirement is rotting at the bottom, and the Silverado isn't the worst leak. Wait until you see what his apartment does. Not to his rent, but to every single purchase within 5 blocks of his front door. Flo King rents a 1-bedroom in the Trendy district. Exposed brick, string lights on the balcony, a craft brewery downstairs selling $9 IPAs named Existential Haze, $1,400 a month, $16,800 a year. He chose it because it felt like where a successful person lives. The irony could light up a city block. This apartment is the exact reason he will never become successful. Here's the invisible tax. When you live in the expensive zip code, everything within reach is priced for the expensive zip code. Bodega cold brew, $6.50. Pad Thai, $19, 11 2 miles east. The gym costs $65 a month because it has mood lighting and a juice bar. Flo King almost canceled that membership once. Got to the confirm cancellation screen. Thumb hovering. Then he imagined telling coworkers he quit. 3 seconds of hesitation. He pressed keep membership. That button costs $780 a year. Every year. His neighborhood isn't an address. It's a consumption multiplier whispering spend more in a frequency only his credit card can hear. Now the subtraction that keeps Flo King awake at 3 a.m. without knowing why. $43,593 after taxes. Minus $12,708 for the Silverado ecosystem. Minus $16,800 for rent. $14,085 left. Divide by 12. $1,173 a month. For food, phone, internet, power, streaming, Discord. Nitro he forgot exists. Replacement headphones, a birthday gift for his mom. Everything that constitutes a human life. Some of you are thinking, nobody makes every mistake at once. Pull up your last statement. Add all car costs. Add rent. Add what your zip code silently charges you. Look at the remainder. If your chest just tightened, you found your reflection in this story. Pepperoni found his 3 years ago. The difference is what he did next. But before we get to his playbook, we need to talk about the thing Flo King cannot control. His $1,173 is about to fight something invisible, something that started in Washington, crossed the Pacific, and landed in the price of his eggs. Flo King stands in aisle 7. Fluorescent light hums above him like a migraine with a utility bill. He picks up a carton of eggs, $4.80. He remembers $2.60. He puts them back, grabs store brand, $4.20, stares at the 60-cent gap and wonders, when exactly did eggs become a financial decision? Early 2025. The Trump administration rolled fresh import tariffs, 20% across the board on Chinese goods, targeted sectors spiking to 45% on electronics and packaging materials. Every product Flo King touches between waking up and collapsing into bed got more expensive. The plastic on his frozen burritos, the oil in every restaurant kitchen, the components inside the monitor burning his retinas 11 hours a day. None of it showed up on his paycheck. It showed up at the register, at the pump. In a polite letter that read, effective August 1st, your new rent is $1,470, without a single word explaining why. Inflation in 2026, 4% on groceries, 6% on dining, 8% on imported electronics. Flo King's raise was 2%. In 1970, a single income bought a house in 3 years, price-to-salary ratio of 2.4. Today, it's past 6. Doge Papa remembers when eggs cost 79 cents. He doesn't say it out loud anymore. There's no point. The system wasn't broken by one president or one bill. It was engineered across 50 years by 1,000 quiet decisions. But the tariffs of 2025 poured gasoline on a fire already eating through the floor. Flo King is standing in the flames wondering why his sneakers are melting. Those sneakers are about to teach you something no economics class ever will. Flo King owns one pair, $45 from a discount rack. They last 7 months before the sole separates and rain soaks through to his socks. He feels it every time. The cold, the wet, the small humiliation of squelching across a Monday morning parking lot. Every 7 months, same rack, same $45. Over a decade, $770 on shoes that never stop disintegrating. Doge Papa bought leather boots 15 years ago. $200. Resoled once for $35. Total, $235. Still on his feet. Still dry. Difference, $535 per decade. On shoes alone. Now multiply across everything. Cheap furniture that snaps. Cheap tires dead at 15,000 miles. Cheap food that becomes a medical bill a decade later. Poverty isn't the absence of money. It's a surcharge on every single thing you buy. A subscription you can't cancel that charges more the less you have. And it gets uglier. Flo King's credit card, 19.9% APR. If he moved 3 zip codes east, cheaper rent, rougher blocks, same credit score, same income, same history. The algorithm reads his new address and adjusts. 24.9%. Same human, different mailbox, different price for borrowing money. This is the zip code tax. Perfectly legal, completely invisible, designed to keep you exactly where you are. You're probably thinking, at least the wealthy pay more in taxes to even things out. But there's a legal strategy billionaires use that makes the entire tax system look like a prank pulled at your expense. It's called buy, borrow, die, and it's why the man who owns Flo King's company pays a lower effective rate than Flo King himself. 3 steps: buy assets, stocks, real estate, anything that grows. Borrow against them. The bank gives you a loan at 2 or 3%, using your portfolio as collateral. That loan is debt, not income. Debt isn't taxed. You live on borrowed money while your assets compound untouched. When you pass on, heirs inherit with a stepped-up cost basis. Decades of growth never taxed. Estate pays off loans. Heirs keep the rest. IRS gets nothing. Flo King, 22% effective rate. The billionaire, effectively zero. Not fraud. Architecture. 3 years ago, El Pepperoni sat in Flo King's exact chair. Same beer, same app, same hollow number in the dark. He stopped being angry about the system. Now he just uses every legal piece available to him and sidesteps every trap designed to drain him. And this brings us to the only number that actually determines your ending. Not salary, not tax rate, not even expenses. El Pepperoni calls it the boring gap. It will never go viral. It will never trend. And it's the only wall between you and financial drowning. The boring gap is the distance between after-tax income and actual spending. Not gross, fantasy, not net worth, a scoreboard, the gap, monthly delta. What's left when every bill, every subscription, every truck payment, every $9 IPA has taken its cut? Flo King's gap on paper, 1,173. After tariff-swollen groceries, gas, phone, streaming, Discord Nitro, real gap, about $140. Some months negative. Some months he charges eggs at 19.9%, shrinking next month's gap before it even starts. When the gap hits zero, you're not middle class. You're a hamster welded to a wheel. El Pepperoni, same 55,000, same taxes, same 43,593. But his car, an old Honda Civic, dent in the fender, $189 a month. Apartment, 20 minutes farther, $850 a month. No brewery, no $6 coffee. Quiet street where rent hasn't caught the hype. That single choice, 20 minutes of driving, saves $6,600 a year. His boring gap, $1,420. Every month, compounding. Every January he maxes his HSA, $4,150, pre-tax. Never taxed in, never taxed growing, never taxed out for medical expenses. Triple advantage. The only account in America that beats a Roth on pure tax efficiency. Flo King pays full price for prescriptions and has never heard those 3 letters in that order. $400 a month into a Roth IRA. After tax in, but every dollar of growth exits tax-free at retirement. 25 years at average returns. Roughly $475,000. Flo King has access to the identical account. Same salary. Same eligibility. He never opens it. By evening, he's too hollowed out to do anything except pour a beer and type "Valhalla awaits" into a chat where nobody responds. Valhalla was sitting in a brokerage account the entire time, waiting for $400 a month. Remaining gap parks in high-yield savings at 4.8%. El Pepperoni's emergency fund earns passive income while Flo King's bank pays 0.01, and pockets the difference. Same money, different address. One grows while you sleep. The other gets looted while you dream of longships. I-bonds, government issued, inflation linked. Rate follows CPI. When prices spike, payout rises. $10,000 annual cap, $10,000, matching step for step the exact inflation devouring Flo King's grocery run. Credit card churning. 4 cards, 0 interest ever paid. Sign-up bonuses rotated quarterly. Spend $3,000 in 90 days. Collect $200. Last year, $800 cash back. The bank system flags him as a deadbeat, their real internal label for customers who pay in full and generate zero profit. El Pepperoni wears that word like a metal pin to his chest. Doge Papa nods from his armchair. No HSA when he began. No Roth, no apps. One rule, spend less than you earn. Monthly. No exceptions. Much discipline. Very gap. 30 years later, paid off house, warm tea, watching Flo King scream about Valhalla through a screen. Tools evolve. Math doesn't. If this rewired how you see your paycheck, if the numbers landed different tonight, subscribe and hit the bell. Every week we crack open another gear in the machine that's grinding people like Flo King into dust. Remember that Friday night? Gaming chair, Mountain Dew, blue glow, $1,103, stomach folding like a cheap lawn chair. Rewind. Same frame. But Flo King listened this time. 6 months ago, a video like this one. Same chest tightness you might be feeling now, and he did something radically boring, something nobody screenshots for Instagram. He sold the Silverado. Dealership gave him $19,000, less than he owed. Signing that paper physically hurt. He bought a used Civic for $8,000 cash, moved 20 minutes east, $850 a month. No string lights, no exposed brick, clean walls, quiet neighbors, and a boring gap wide enough to breathe through. Canceled the mood lighting gym. $40 dumbbells from Amazon. Canceled Discord Nitro. Home-brewed coffee. $12 bag. 3 weeks, better than anything a philosophy major barista ever poured. His gap climbed from 140 to 1,380. 6 months, 8,280 in high-yield savings. First Roth opened. HSA maxed. This Friday night, the app glows in the dark and the number doesn't break him. It lets him exhale. Long, slow, like a man surfacing after being held underwater for years. Long, still on the treadmill. Everyone is. But the belt slowed, the incline flattened, and for the first time he can see the edge. The day passive income covers base expenses. El Pepperoni calls it the breathing line. Flo King isn't there yet, but every boring, unglamorous, deeply unsexy month of widening the gap brings it one step closer. El Pepperoni closes his laptop, leans back, sips espresso. The sombrero catches kitchen light. Across town, Doge Papa sends one text. A single green candle emoji. Much proud. Drop a comment. What's your boring gap after you run the numbers tonight? I read every single one. The system isn't broken. It was built this way. Trump didn't design this machine. No single president did. But the tariffs of 2025 cranked the speed on a treadmill already running too fast for most legs. Right now, June 2026, you choose. Flo King 6 months ago. Flat beer, collapsing gap, screaming about Valhalla into a void that never echoes back. Or Flo King today, quiet apartment, boring spreadsheet, gap cracking wider every month like a dam about to release a river. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is after you close this video. Your move.